Hello, everyone. I'm Sheila Callahan, a passionate educator and change maker. I come from corporate communications and a DEI background. But for the last 5 years, I've been a Forbes contributor focused exclusively on age and aging in the workplace. I've published more than 150 articles and have had the benefit of learning from many experts along the way. Because of my focus and my work experience around age and aging, every week I receive messages from teammates and collaborators from around the world who share an article and ask what I think of it. This week, I'm reviewing the article Work Less, Live More. It was published in the Toronto Live, and it was shared by my friend, Sandy Zwyer. And Sandy wrote, Sheila, when you have a sec, I would appreciate your take on this millennial piece. The title of the article is Work Less and Live More, but the subtitle was The 40-Hour Workweek Sucks, Ambition is Overrated, and Life is Short. Confessions from the New and Intentionally Underemployed Labor Force. So from the get-go, I was shaking my head. Did the authors really think that any of these statements were exclusive to the narrow age group that they were interviewing? So I read through the interviews, and most of them were women in their 30s. There was one man in his 30s and one younger woman aged 25. And to be honest, at some point, everybody's story kind of all started to sound the same. But why is that? It's because their story wasn't about age at all, like the authors wanted to claim. It's really about the life stage where each of these individuals that were interviewed were. It's that place in life where working 40 hours just doesn't cut it anymore. It's the stage in life where family may be much more important than career advancement and pay raises. It's the stage in life where one recognizes time flies. So it's really better to make the most of life now. It's about values. What do people value? So here's my biggest beef with the article. They could have found just as many people to interview if they'd talked to people in their 40s, in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, hundreds. But they didn't, because generational baiting earns clicks. I know this because 5 years ago, I did it once or twice myself before I realized how damaging it was and how assigning certain values to only one generation was a ridiculous notion. Anytime an article tries to make one age group look better or worse or smarter or dumber or more or less innovative than any other, those articles get clicks because they incite people. And that's a shame. So this article could have been so much more if, think about it, if they took a wider lens and to capture potential employees and employees across the age spectrum want and what they value. Don't you think that would have provided some real ammunition for employers to reconsider this whole notion of forcing people back to work, reconsider the notion of their expectations of 24/7 availability? There has to be a give. And if the majority of employees are wanting a certain thing, or even a huge segment of the overall talent population wants to have or expects or values a certain thing, then employers must bend if they want the talent. The talent pool is shrinking because we have people living older and we have declining birth rates around the world. And because of ageism, people over 50 are completely being discounted. So if you think about it, and because of ageism on the early end of the age spectrum, people just coming into the workplace, if you think about it, employers are really looking at this hiring range between, say, 25 and 40. That's a 15-year age range. That is the talent that they're looking at. Think about what they're missing and think about what the authors of this article lost out on because they were only talking about one segment of the population, most of them women. Here's my message for any author who uses generational value bubbles to bait readers. Stop that. You get so much more bang for your buck, and you'll really help the world understand that the desire for, quote, rediscovering a sense of play and, quote, getting more enjoyment out of life is really much broader than the few people you interviewed in this article. But I also have a message for employers, and that is, if you think only young people want more flexibility and autonomy and less working hours, you are sadly mistaken. Here's the deal. Recruiting talent that is a true fit for your organization, it doesn't have to be difficult. You're never going to make everyone happy. It's like my friend David Allison says, it's really all about personal values. The decisions you make, it drive your businesses. The decisions we make that drive our life experiences are about personal values. When you find the people who value your mission and your vision, then you'll be on the right track. Just make sure that you recruit from a diverse community across the age spectrum if you're going to get maximum impact. Not only will it provide a more stable talent pool, more innovation, but it will also make your brand much more reputable. So that's my take on this story, Work Less, Live More, but I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks again to Sandy Zwyer for the article tip. I love Sandy's LinkedIn byline where she says, I see the forest and the trees. I'd like to think that I do that too. Sandy is a self-described big picture thinker and an award-winning editorial support specialist and writer who excels in fact-based inclusive communications. She is also a champion for age diversity, and bottom line, she's an awesome person to follow on LinkedIn. If you have an article you'd like to share, just send me a DM on LinkedIn. I'd love to read it. To age is to stay in the game. So I hope to see you next week on This Week in the News, when we'll all be 1 week older.